Welcome to Week 3 of Programming Fundamentals. At this point, you should have learned how to use the basic data types, how to conditionally execute code, and how to iterate or repeat lines of code based on conditions. This week, we will examine in detail the string type and more specifically, how to slice strings, how to search inside strings, and how to use some of the most basic built-in functions. Then we will move on how we can use files for input and output. Let's start with the string type and review a few properties of the strings. A string is a sequence of characters. A string value, or a literal, is enclosed inside either single or double quotes. For strings, the addition sign means concatenate or put together. When a string literal contains a number, it is still called a string. So for example, x equals 12 inside quotes is not a number, it's a string. And of course, we can convert a string to a number using the int function. When we obtain input from the user, it is always a string. Strings are immutable, which means that you cannot change an existing string. Strings actually are lists of individual characters in order. We can get any character from the string using an index and a square bracket. The index is an integer, and it starts from 0 and it ends at the length of the string -1. You will get an error if you try to access a character outside of that range. A lot of computations involve processing a string, one character at a time. Often they start at the beginning, select its character, and in turn do something with it and continue until the end. This pattern of processing is called string traversal. One way to write a traversal is with a definite for loop. In this example, the letter variable is called the iteration variable and repeats the print command for each letter in the fruit variable. A while loop can also be used to traverse through the characters of a string. Of course, again, we should start with 0. This is why I'm declaring here an index variable 0, and we'll repeat this code for as long as this index is less than the length of the string. A segment of a string is called a slice. We can retrieve any continuous section using brackets and the colon operator. The first number before the colon is the starting position. The second number of the slice is the ending but not including position. Look, for example, the second example in this slide. It will print from the string S from the 6th character until the 7th, but not including the 7th character. So it's going to print the letter P. We can search and we can compare strings. Using the in keyword, we can check if one string is inside another string. So for example, we can check, is A in banana? And then Python will say, I found it. Using Boolean expressions, we can also check if something is greater or less or equal to. But how can we say if a string is greater than another string? Of course, we can compare strings using the comparison operators. Python will put the strings into an alphabetical order and will decide which word will come first or after another word. So all the operators that we saw, it doesn't say that x, if it is a string, it is greater, but if it comes before or after Y in alphabetical order. Python does not handle uppercase and lowercase letters the same way that people do. All the uppercase letters come before all the lowercase letters. So uppercase banana comes before lowercase banana. A common way to address this problem is to convert strings to a standard format, such as all uppercase or all lowercase before performing any comparison. We can use the find function to find the position of a substring in another string. We can convert a string to uppercase or lowercase using the upper and lower functions, whereas we can use title to convert the first character of each word in a string into uppercase. We can search and replace characters or sequences of characters in strings using the replace function. To remove white spaces at the beginning, at the end, or both, we can use the lstrip, rstrip, or strip functions. The function starts with will result to a true if the string starts with a specified sequence of characters. The ends with function will result to true if the string ends with a specified sequence of characters. So for example, if you have a string called a line that says please have a nice day, does the line start with please? True. Does the line start with lowercase p? False, because it starts with an uppercase p. We have more functions that can help us manipulate strings. For example, isDigit will return true if all the characters in a string are digits. Count will return the number of times a specified value occurs in a string, so it can count how many A's a string has. Split will break the string down at a specified operator, and this operator can be a space, or a semicolon, or a comma, or anything we choose, and then this will return a list of strings. And join is exactly the opposite of split. It is going to convert the elements of a list back into a single string. And this concludes our mini lecture on strings. Read chapter 6 from your textbook. Watch the lab demonstration so that you see the string functions in action. Practice with strings in our lab practice. And see you later in our mini lecture on files.